Dinosaurs don't care how you look. They don't care if you have your eye makeup on. They don't care if you fix your face. They don't even care if you have your lipstick on. And I just got out of the shower a few minutes ago, so my hair is sopping wet. And you know what? We got big old hats to wear. Don't care. I'm on my way to get baby girl. It's a 5-hour drive to pick her up. And then we're just gonna turn right around and get in the car, and we will be driving to somewhere in Kansas to spend the night. And then tomorrow, Dinosaur Dig! I'm so excited. So I have prayed big guns of protection over my house, my cats, all of my neighbors here, and over each one of you. So stay tuned for updates on the big fat dinosaur dig. 2019. Hi, welcome to Gigi's place. I'm so glad you came. Come on in. Let's have some fun. So, I picked up Mrs. B. We drove from Oklahoma to Colby, Kansas, where we found a big steampunk sunflower on the visitor center, and then we went to our hotel. The next morning, we went to get some gas at a truck stop, and we found Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or whatever you want to call him. But we didn't care because we were dressed in our little Dino Dig shirts and ready for the next part of our adventure. Hey, looky here. I got my traveling buddy, and we are in our matching shirts. I can't show you what it says because it'd be backwards, but they say Lucy and Ethel Road Trip 2019, and we are on our way to Colorado to find those dinosaurs, right?
That's right.
Say hello, Mrs. B.
Hello, Mrs. B.
No, I mean say hello. Say hello, Lucy. Good night, Ethel.
Good night, Ethel.
Are we having fun?
We're having fun.
Have we seen any dinosaurs?
We saw Bigfoot.
We found Bigfoot. In case you didn't know he's lost, we found him.
He's getting coffee in Colby, Kansas.
He's in Colby, Kansas. That's where we spent the night. Gigi's car is covered in bird poop. Yes, I said poop. I said it.
And bug guts.
Poop and bug guts because we drove a long way. And we're still about 6 or 7 hours from meeting up with Miss Belinda. But we just mountains and mountains and mountains. We're just outside of Denver. Still about 2 hours and some odd minutes away from meeting up with Miss Belinda. But it sure is pretty here. And our ears are popping just like we were taking off on the airplane. So we're chewing. So far, until we got to Denver, we were almost the only car on the road. We were looking at cows and stuff out in the fields and tons of acres of corn and maize. But now we're going through the Denver area, and there's lots and lots of cars and beautiful homes up on the mountains. Just almost in now. We are Steamboat Springs, elevation 6,695 feet. So we have come down about 3,000 feet. Our ears are busy popping. Just magnificent views on both sides. It's hard to keep your eyes on the road, and we have come down so many steep inclines. They have next time we see one, they have a truck runaway ramp where if the trucks are just out of control, they can run up this lane, and it goes up, and then they slide back down to slow down. So you know, if Gigi and Mrs. B are involved, we're going to have coffee somewhere, and this is the coolest truck stop. Look at this chocolate raspberry lava cake coffee. The ground of beans right there. We stopped for coffee and half. Yeah. Okay, why don't you just give you a little taste of bumping as we follow James and Belinda to the cabin. Somewhere in deeply embedded Dinosaurville in northwestern Colorado. The terrain is rugged. We feel a little bit like Little House on the Prairie, but it is just too beautiful for words. So as we rambled and scrambled over the rough terrain, we soon turned into this gorgeous cabin. We were just enthralled with the beauty of it, inside and outside, and the wonderful views. As soon as we unloaded our car, we piled into James' car, and off we went to meet the rest of the team. However, when we drove onto the little There was no living bodies to be seen. Later, we found out they were all up at the tree site. So in the absence of any people, we decided we would go and fill up all of our water jugs with the beautiful, crystal clear spring water. James jumped off the side of the cliff and headed down. Mrs. B followed him, and Miss Belinda followed them. And I stood on the top to take pictures because I don't jump off cliffs. Can you see the little four-wheel drive vehicle going right there? Dr. Boss coming down off the mountain to see us. And they are up where you see a little green tent. They're working on excavating that tree. Those the assistants over there. See why we needed a bucket?
This is an extremely important fossil. It's been identified specifically as an Araucaria pine. Araucaria pine grows round, but it is compressed. So while, now the fossil, we've taken out over 80 feet of it running through here.
Gosh.
While the fossil was still pliable, all of this built up over it, all of these layers. This is the Morrison Formation, and it runs through 11 states and into Canada. The only explanation for something that could compress that while it is still pliable, is the flood of Noah's day. And this has in it 3 states. First of all, is the total fossilization, lithification, that is rock. But that was the interior of the Araucaria pine. Here it's colified, so it's fossilized, colified, and over here on top is bark that is still fibrous.
That's incredible.
Incredible. So how to explain that?
Rapid.
Extremely rapid, and of course this is a sign and age 140 million years by evolutionary assumption, but the flood was 4,500 years ago, and how could that bark remain fibrous 4,500 years? One of our microbiologists solved the problem. We had 2 NASA scientists here. They saw it and they said, we've never seen anything like it. We don't know how to explain it. But he examined it. In it was still resin from the pine, which is antiseptic.
Yeah.
It's antibacterial.
Right. So it was able to, like honey, it did not deteriorate.
It does not deteriorate, and the medium in which you find it remains pliable. So Noah's flood is the only answer. This is again incredibly important. I've tried to describe to you the tree Toby in its 3 states.
Yes, sir.
But it is sandwiched in this breccia. This breccia is volcanic ash. It is peppered with tiny little pumice material, those tiny little rocks
Does look pumicey.
that were thrown out of the earth in volcanic context. And
It's like concrete. It's pockmarked and it's like concrete.
yes, that's the volcanic ash that's like the concrete, and those tiny little fragments were thrown into the air as larger chunks, but as they came down hot, molten, very hot, they fragmented and sandwiched all of this. So we know this was laid down during extreme volcanism, volcanic activity. So the dinosaur bones themselves are found in a slurry, and they were boiled in that hot water, caught in that context, and their skin, much of their skin just boiled off of them.
Oh, wow.
And we find them all jammed together.
So the flood is coming up, it's causing all this volcanic reaction, and the lava is just boiling that water, and those dinosaurs are caught in the middle of all of that.
Caught in the middle of all of that.
Now that one's not as shiny as the one you got in the bone lab. Why?
Well, you gotta wash it,
Okay. Okay.
and it probably didn't stay in the belly as long as the one in the bone lab, right?
Jabal, how many did you find? How many have they found
This
in one?
makes about 22 at this site. Toby,
Awesome.
how do we know this isn't just a creek rock?
Okay, that's right. Looks like a river rock,
Look at
but
our,
it's not.
But it's not.
our chaperone.
Now, this one is not as pronounced as most, but this has the characteristics. You know, dinosaurs, like various creatures, just took rocks because they were vegetarian.
Like a
primarily.
chicken does.
Like a chicken does. Swallowed them, and that grinds up
Grinds up the food
hard
they eat.
fiber.
Okay,
See, plant fiber is harder than meat fiber.
that's right. Not that easy to digest, which is good for cleaning out everything.
You got it,
Yeah.
you got it. So, number one, there can be no sharp edges. If there's a sharp edge, that means it was not in. If it was in the gastrointestinal system of the dinosaur, it was a very, very short period of time. So, this has no sharp edges. Number two, there must be at least one concave sublingual angle.
Concave means it folds in a little, curves
And
in.
because another rock rubbed against it.
Okay,
Here is that. Even though this is shallow, most of them are much deeper.
okay,
That's shallow, but there's one concave called sublingual angle.
okay.
Then number three, if you clean it, it feels slightly waxy.
Now, waxy, is that because there was bile building up on these rocks, something like that?
No, it has to do with the internal structure, your
Okay.
internal digestive system.
Okay.
So if you will rub across there,
Oh,
and this hasn't really been cleaned. When it's cleaned right, then you can feel it just slight waxy.
but it doesn't feel hard. If waxy makes sense, it's like you could almost pick your nail into it.
And it penetrates deep into the matrix of the.
Where did you find it?
Lala, here's another one.
I actually kept them.
You just don't want to be excreting.
I kept them.
Yeah. If you put it in a pill.
You kept them in your shirt?
Because your stomach can't. It
So
just
how
doesn't have
old are
enough
you?
time. Yeah.
5.5.
And have you done this before? Did you come and dig with them
horrible.
before?
Oh.
Yeah.
But-
Did you ever find anything like
What is
that?
that going to do for my nerves?
No.
Okay. So
It's
anything
fun, isn't it?
is brain and nerves.
Awesome.
Okay.
I know. Happy little baby having a snack.
I was walking up on the road and it was actually laying upside down just in the dirt here. We think it tumbled down from a higher up level. And I grabbed it and pulled it over and that's what I found. So that's
So
kind of the
what?
end of it.
Tell me, what is that?
It's a caudal vertebrae, so it's at the base, at the start of the tail. It's been broken off on this side, and we think possibly it's closest to the Allosaurus, which is a cousin to the T-Rex, possibly. So, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. And Dr. Ball, you said this is what started the.
All of the activity
Yes.
today, because we were just going to look at the tree and that's all.
Yeah.
But she
Awesome.
found that, which meant we had to go higher. And
And then the
Carson-
gastroliths is what the
yes,
second thing we found. Yeah.
And how
Carson
many?
found-
Did anybody tell us how many exactly? We don't
Well,
know. 4 and
including the
lunch?
little one, close to
Over
50.
40.
Yeah, over
Wow.
40.
The little
Yeah, it was
ones?
over 40.
I know I stood there and cleaned at least 20.
Yeah, yeah.
The little ones, we got about 50.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
felt
we had a
rain.
lot.
Did you guys feel that?
Yep.
So what do you think we're gonna find? What's holding all those? Where is the critter that all those came out of? Huh?
No pressure. A little question.
No pressure.